I mean, I already do feel like I am, whatchamacallit it, screwing up here. You know, it's funny, Zombie Chocobo, is that, I have set the mic and game audio like 5 or 6 times, getting it just right. So, you know what, we're gonna set it a little lower this time, because I just, you know, whatever. All right. Yep. All right. I never much cared for this loading screen in particular. I feel like it looks kind of cheap and CG-ish. So if anyone is still listening from earlier and didn't tune out while I was freaking out trying to make the damn machines work, I'm sorry. But I've watched enough people play video games on the internet to know that the last thing I want to hear is someone apologizing. I want to hear them talk about a damn video game. So, here we are, back on the starting screen again. Hilariously, we have made our character choices. I've explained some mechanics, but I haven't actually done anything in the damn game yet. And of course, I've turned on the tutorial, just for funsies. To recap, doing a fun little roleplay-y run-through of Sunless on a fresh legacy, which means I haven't inherited any of the cool bonuses from my previous captains. Yeah, I'm just kind of... This is a really cool game. It's not very intuitive. I played like 200 hours of it. I know a good amount about it. So you can watch me play it to learn how it works. And why I like it. Also, for those of you just tuning in, now that, or I don't know, anyone, I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. Found out I actually do have to work tomorrow morning, so that's gonna be fun. Well, not in the morning. I have to work tomorrow afternoon. I rent boats for a living, by the way, so that's fun. Boats. This is a boat. Ah. Okay, now an important note about Sunless Sea I wanted to get to that I didn't previously was that the sailor's accent in this world where London has been sold underground to become the 5th city to host the bazaar, is that sailors replace S's with Z's as a kind of fun nautical dialect. It's a little thing, but it's nice. It's a little world building. It's kind of silly, kind of fun. In case you're wondering who that creepy lady is, because I am playing as a disgraced priest, this lady's got something infested in her eyes. She's a ship engineer, and let's see what's up with her. What does she want? Yeah. So again, people just tuning in. I'm going to be reading some of the lines of this out loud because, well, because I want to. Of course, if any of you hate it, I will stop. But, I mean, do you really want to watch just someone hover over a text box and kind of ramble while... All right. Here's what she has to say. Because either way, you don't want to hear me second-guess myself. My eyes will hatch soon. The gale-biter wasp, you know it? Its children are in me. She smiles. I can't be sorry. I can see such things. She tails off, hungrily watching your face. What is she seeing? King Eater's castle, she says at last, rather breathily. Her hand goes up to her throat. I would like to see King Eater's castle through these eyes before I go. Then there's a little note in the slightly grayer text there. Oh, I just pointed at that with my finger instead of my mouse cursor. How fun. That gives you a little hint about where King Eater Castle is. One of the downsides, all of the classes of all of the backgrounds in the game have a different kind of starting officer. The downside, and when you they all are trying to get somewhere, and when you drop them off, you get a reward of some kind. Now the downside with the priest is that King Eater Castle is basically the farthest point in the game from London, and it's super creepy and weird there, and it's awesome. But we're probably not going to end up there a good while. But don't worry, we'll likely replace her with a less creepy eye-glowing engineer in no time. Okay, so let's take a little look around London. Now, when you're starting the game, the first thing you want to do is visit the Admiralty's survey office and ask if there's anything in particular they need. And one of the things that is going to be a repeatable source of income in the game is going out and doing these missions for the Admiral and collecting strategic information. It's, you know, it's kind of it's an equivalent of grinding. And ideally, once you get to learn what you're doing, this will just kind of become part of your trip on your ways to do other more interesting things. So right now, he's asking us to go to retrieve the information from the Iron and Misery Company funging station, which is usually pretty close. I guess this is probably a good point to mention one of the unique features of Sunless Sea, which is the semi-randomized map. Basically, there's a sort of rough geographical layout, which the atlas will always follow. Certain islands are always near each other, basically because it wouldn't really because you know, it makes sense culturally for them to be near each other. There's like a reason for these things to be closer or farther than each other. But there's also a random element there, and certain ports may be much closer to each other between different games, and that can have a very meaningful impact on gameplay. Something that's, you know, right next to London in one game could feasibly be on the other side of the map, making it much more costly and difficult to get there. Which brings me to another. You know what? Okay. I'm actually just going to play the damn game, and I can talk about this while I go do one of my early quests. So, London. Okay. Good early quest is to, when you first get in London, is offer passage to a tomb colonist. In the world of Fallen London and Sunless Sea, people who are under the earth, you know, not on top of the earth like we are, but are under it like folks in London and we are in the game, you don't really die. Like, you can take a mortal wound, but you're still up and moving, and there are complicated reasons for that. Well, I mean, an exception to that is if you die at sea, basically. And that's not really because you're actually dead, but it's because you're kind of caught forever lost in an endless dark ocean, never to be seen or, you know, survive. Well, that's part of it could be more complicated than that. I'm not 100% sure. But tomb colonists are basically people who got so fucked up that they have to just bandage themselves together to keep from falling apart. They're still alive and fine, technically, but their bodies are just on the verge of collapsing. And kind of in the way that Victorian society would chew its unmentionable, like, relatives off somewhere pleasantly out of sight. So too does London send these ghastly, disfigured folk who are, who've kind of developed a culture unto themselves to these tomb colonies, the largest of which is not too far north of London and called Vanderblight. Oh, you know what? This little paragraph of text explained that much more succinctly than I did. Note to self. Check to see if the text explains it better than I am. So, yeah, let's just get going. First stop, Vanderblight. Okay. So, the game kind of works via tank controls, with WASD being your main movement keys. Pressing W to either go full speed ahead, which is indicated by this little arrow pointing at the 2. Half speed ahead, which is at the 1, which is much slower. You can also go in reverse. Very exciting. And then you steer with left and right. And decelerate with down. Very exciting. Fun little feature that most people do not know about this game is that if you press the H key, your ship lets out a little horn, which I think is freaking delightful. And you can just do that whenever you want, and it's nothing except a little cute horn.